Marion S. Barry Jr. began his life's journey on March 6, 1936. He was the eldest child born to the late Mrs. Mattie Cummings and Marion Barry Sr. in Idabena, Mississippi. As the son of sharecroppers and domestic workers, he developed a strong work ethic. By age 5, he would accompany his mother to the Delta cotton fields from dusk until dawn. In 1944, Mattie Cummings moved Barry to Memphis, Tennessee. During his school years, Mr. Barry continued to build on his strong work ethic, taking odd jobs, and even joining the Boy Scouts, ultimately becoming an Eagle Scout. With stellar grades, Mr. Barry was accepted by several colleges before settling on Lemoyne-Owen College in Memphis, Tennessee in 1954. There, he envisioned becoming a teacher and science researcher with a focus on space and orbits. In spring of 1955, Mr. Barry also pledged Alpha Phi Alpha Incorporated fraternity and became the president of the Youth Council of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP. At Lemoyne-Owen College, he was tasked with delivering an opening speech for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and rallies immediately prior to Dr. King's remarks. Mr. Barry graduated from Lemoyne-Owen College in 1958 and immediately enrolled in Fisk University in Nashville in the fall of 1958, seeking a master's degree in chemistry. In the fall of 1960, after graduating with a Master's of Science degree in chemistry, Mr. Barry enrolled at the University of Kansas, pursuing a doctorate in chemistry. He later transferred to the University of Tennessee at Knoxville, where he was the only African American among 3,000 students. By 1964, Mr. Barry had completed all of the coursework at the Knoxville for a doctorate degree in chemistry and was a dissertation away from his doctorate before he joined the civil rights movement full-time, but the call to fight for his people superseded his desire to complete his doctoral dissertation. Mr. Barry became the first chair of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC, in 1964. And moved to Washington, D.C. in 1965 to lead the SNCC office and join the Free D.C. movement. In 1967, Mr. Barry formed Pride Incorporated, which was the blueprint for his political philosophy. While at Pride Incorporated, he created thousands of jobs that employed ex-offenders, and created life skills and jobs for youth. In 1972, Mr. Barry won his first election as the president of the D.C. School Board. And in 1974, Mr. Barry won a citywide at-large seat on the D.C. City's Council, the very first election under Home Rule. Mr. Barry kicked off his first campaign for mayor in January of 1978. And in February of 1978, he married the late Effie Slaughter, his life partner for almost 2 decades. On November 6, 1978, Mr. Barry rose to national prominence, where he was elected the second mayor of the nation's capital. He was sworn into office on January 2, 1979 by the first African-American U.S. Supreme Court Justice, Thurgood Marshall. Mr. Barry was always a visionary, and after assuming his position as mayor, he immediately created the Summer Youth Employment Act of 1979. Of jobs for district youth, and that program has provided more than 100,000 jobs to DC youth to date. In June of 1980, he and Effie Barry welcomed their only child, Marion Christopher Barry. And in 1982, Mr. Barry was re-elected to mayor by a landslide, garnering 82% of the vote. In 1984, Mr. Barry rose to international prominence when he nominated good friend Reverend Jesse Jackson, Sr. for President of the United States at the Democratic National Convention. It was there that he took center stage and delivered a rousing opening speech from Mr. Jackson. And in 1986, Mr. Barry was once again re-elected to an unprecedented third term as mayor. In 1994, Mr. Barry took off some time from public life and focused on his spiritual life and personal well-being. And it was in 1994 that Mr. Barry and Cora Masters Barry were married. In that same year, Mr. Barry kicked off his fourth run for mayor and won, completing 16 years as mayor of the District of Columbia. In 1999, Mr. Barry returned to win the Ward 8 City Council seat in November of 2004. He held that office until his passing on November 23rd of 2014. His total time as council member for the district was 16 years. During his tenure as mayor, Mr. Barry shaped the District of Columbia into the thriving, vibrant city that it is today. He focused on revitalization and economic development. He was principally responsible for the revitalization of downtown and development of Georgetown, the resurgence of the U Street corridor, the rebirth of H Street, the face of Gallery Place, Chinatown, and the renaissance of the Anacostia community. As the Ward 8 council member, Mr. Barry secured over $350 million to modernize schools east of the river. Amen? Mr. Barry was a courageous champion for senior citizens, Ward 8 minority businesses, affordable housing, and hiring practices that afforded local residents priority consideration. As a hallmark of his political legacy, he spearheaded a movement that required all government contracts to include a mandatory 35% participation for minority-owned companies. He was the catalyst for the expansion of the district's black middle class, insisting that professional positions in the government and private sector be filled by minority and minority businesses. He created the HPAP program, Home Purchase Assistance Program, which allowed many African American residents to purchase their first home. He was loved and revered by the people and was affectionately referred to as the Mayor for Life. In June 2014, Mr. Barry released his much-anticipated memoir, Mayor for Life, the incredible story of Marion Barry Jr., telling his own story in his own words. His legacy spanned 52 years of public service. His legacy demonstrates his phenomenal leadership and trend-setting attributes that can be seen in the district and throughout the country. Mr. Barry is survived by his lovely wife, Cora, his wonderful son, Marion Christopher Barry, sister Gloria Driver, and a host of loved ones and friends to carry his legacy.